You're lying in bed. It's late. You're tired. But your brain? Your brain is running a full investigation. Did I say the wrong thing today? What if that decision ruins everything? Why can't I just be normal and stop thinking so much? And the worst part? You've been doing this your whole life. You thought everyone did this. Maybe some people do, but not like you. Not this intense, not this exhausting. Here's what nobody told you. You didn't develop overthinking as an adult. It didn't just show up one day out of nowhere. It started way earlier than you think. Think back. When you were a kid, were you ever in an environment where you had to read the room? Where you had to figure out someone's mood before you spoke? A parent, a teacher, an older sibling? Maybe home felt unpredictable. Maybe you got criticized a lot, even for small things. Maybe nothing you did ever felt quite good enough. Or maybe it was the opposite. Everything was fine on the surface, but you were never really seen. Your feelings were brushed off. Stop being so sensitive. You're overthinking it. Ironic, right? Here's what happens in a kid's brain during all of this. When your environment feels uncertain or unsafe, emotionally, not just physically, your brain starts scanning, constantly. It becomes hypervigilant, always looking for danger, always trying to predict what comes next so it can protect you. That was a survival tool. Back then, it actually helped. The problem? You're not a kid anymore, but your brain never got the memo. Let me show you what this actually looks like today, because it's sneaky. You get an opportunity, a new job, a project, a chance to put yourself out there, and instead of excitement, you feel this immediate weight. You start listing every single way it could go wrong. You spend 3 days thinking about it and then miss the window entirely. That's not laziness. That's a brain that learned early on that taking risks leads to pain. Or this one. Someone says something slightly off to you in a conversation. Could mean nothing, probably means nothing, but you replay it 40 times. You analyze their tone, their word choice, whether they were looking at you when they said it. That's not you being dramatic. That's a brain trained to detect threats in other people's behavior because at some point in your life, missing those signs cost you something. And here's the one that really hits. You have a goal. You want to start something, a business, a fitness routine, a creative project. You feel the pull, but every time you sit down to start, your mind floods with questions. What if it fails? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? So you don't start. You wait until you're ready, and ready never comes. This is the cycle, and it started in childhood not because something was necessarily catastrophic, but because your young mind adapted to whatever it was handed. Here's the reframe that changed things for me. Overthinking isn't a flaw in your character. It's not a sign that you're weak or broken. It's actually your brain trying to protect you, using tools it built years ago for a version of life that no longer exists. Your brain learned, if I think about every possible outcome, I can stay safe. The problem is, that same tool that protected you then is now keeping you stuck. It's burning energy that should go toward living your actual life. Think about it. How many hours have you spent replaying conversations that are already over, worrying about things that never happened, planning for every worst-case scenario just to feel in control? That energy didn't disappear. It went somewhere. Into exhaustion, into self-doubt, into that quiet feeling that you're always somehow behind. And none of it actually solved anything. Okay, so now you understand where it comes from, but understanding alone doesn't fix it. So let's talk about what actually helps. Step 1. Name what's happening in real time, not after the spiral, during it. When you catch yourself in a loop, just say it, out loud or in your head, I'm overthinking right now. That's it. That small act of naming it creates distance between you and the thought. You're not the overthinking. You're the one watching it happen. That gap is where your power lives. Step 2. Ask one simple question. Not, what if everything goes wrong? That's the spiral. Instead, ask, what's the most likely thing that actually happens here? Not worst case, most likely. Almost always, the most likely outcome is manageable. Maybe uncomfortable, but manageable. Your brain defaulted to catastrophe because that's what it was trained to do. You have to consciously give it a new question to answer. Step 3. Take the smallest possible action. Overthinking feeds on inaction. The longer you sit still, the louder it gets. Movement, even tiny movement, disrupts the loop. Don't write the whole plan. Write one sentence. Don't start the workout. Put on your shoes. Don't fix the relationship in one conversation. Send the text. Small action tells your nervous system, we're okay, we're moving, we're not in danger. And slowly, the volume starts to come down. Step 4. Start separating the past from the present. This one takes time, but it matters. The child version of you needed to be hypervigilant. That made sense then. But your life right now, your actual current life, probably doesn't require that level of defense. You're allowed to update your operating system. When you notice the anxiety spiking, gently ask, is this actually a threat right now? Or does this just feel familiar? Because sometimes it's not a real danger. It just feels like one because it rhymes with something from your past. I want to be honest with you. This doesn't go away overnight. You've been wired this way for years, maybe decades, and rewiring takes patience. But here's what I want you to hold on to. You are not your patterns. You built them to survive, and now you can rebuild them to actually live. The goal isn't to never have another anxious thought. The goal is to stop letting those thoughts make every decision for you. Some days you'll catch the spiral early. Some days it'll pull you all the way under before you even notice. Both are okay. Progress isn't linear, and beating yourself up for overthinking is just more overthinking. The fact that you're even here, watching this, thinking about this, means part of you is already done being run by old programming. That part of you is worth listening to. So let's bring it together. Overthinking isn't random. It's a pattern your brain built in childhood, a way to stay safe in an environment that felt uncertain or unpredictable. It served you then, and now it's slowing you down. It shows up as procrastination, self-doubt, replaying conversations, feeling stuck before you even start, and it's been draining you quietly for years. But you can interrupt it. Name it when it happens, challenge it with better questions, take tiny action to break the loop, and slowly give yourself permission to stop living like the worst-case scenario is always around the corner. Here's what I want you to try just tonight. Think of one thing you've been overthinking, just one, and ask yourself, what's the smallest step I could take on this right now? Not the full plan, not the perfect move, one step. Then take it. That's how you start, not with a massive breakthrough, with one moment of choosing movement over the spiral. You've been carrying this for a long time. You don't have to put it down all at once, but you can start setting it down one thought at a time. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're working on breaking your own patterns, drop a comment below. I read them, and honestly, your story might help someone else feel less alone. I'll see you in the next one.